Hey, Liesl.
Frankel.
Hi, Liesl Manone. How are you?
I'm warm at home.
So
You
I'm
don't
out
look warm at
here
home.
on the streets where we have an office on East Lancaster, and it is cold. It's down in the 20s. You can't really see it because it's pretty light, but it's snowing a little bit. So one of the things that I know you know, but many of our listeners might not know, is when it gets really cold like this, the city of Fort Worth is obligated to ensure that people that are homeless and on the streets have a warm, safe place to go so that people don't get cold with hypothermia and are at risk of perishing on the streets. So when the nighttime shelters become full, the city of Fort Worth contracts with DRC Solutions to provide emergency overflow shelter. And we've been doing this for the past 7 years. And currently, we are in full operation. We provide emergency cold weather overflow shelter to upwards of 180 people at 3 different sites. Operations begin about 7 at night, where people can come in and then last until about 6:30, 7 o'clock the next morning. So people can't just show up at the shelters, unfortunately, because of COVID. We've
Okay.
set up a separate screening operation in what's known as the Flag Building on
Right,
East
right.
Lancaster. And people down here know what I mean when I talk about the Flag Building. It's a
Yeah.
building with an American flag that's painted, a mural that's painted on the side of the building.
Yeah.
And we've set up a screening operation there where we screen people for symptoms of COVID. If they screen positive, we send them to our partners at John Peter Smith, who take the appropriate measures with those folks. Those people that are screened healthy are given a bus pass and directions to one of 3 cold weather overflow sites that we operate for the city of Fort Worth. And they're open progressively. As one fills up, then the other one is opened, and then the other one, with a maximum capacity of about 180 people.
Okay.
So we've been doing this, every day when the temperature dips below freezing.
Yes.
So we've been operating, a number of days this winter. It's been actually pretty cold, and certainly with the current cold snap we've been operating the last week, and we'll be operating well into next week as well. So we do this in addition to what is our really sort of our regular palette of services, which is permanent supported housing, rapid housing, critical documents. It's noisy out here. And case management, both intensive case management for folks that are in housing, for people that need what we call triage case management. They're in crisis and they need a case manager to help them. We also do what's known as mobile case management, which otherwise people recognize as outreach, where we go on the streets and out into the encampments and find people that are eligible for housing and help them complete the process to get into housing and shepherd them into housing.
And those mobile assessors are out in this weather today, right?
Right. Yeah. Everybody, even when it's cold like this, our outreach workers are out working. It's really, it doesn't matter what the weather's like. In fact, when the weather's cold like this, we have more people out on the streets because we want to find people and be sure that they get sheltered.
Yeah.
We also, have various partnerships with Paulus Foundation and with First Presbyterian Church of Fort Worth in developing permanent supported housing units, apartment complexes. We currently operate with the Paulus Foundation, a complex on Ray Street, and with First Presbyterian Church and their nonprofit called New Leaf. We're working in partnership and building 48 units in Fort Worth that subsequently will end up managing the case management component of that.
And those apartments are getting really close to being open, aren't they?
Right. We're looking. Unfortunately, there was a fire on the property, and So the opening's delayed while one of the buildings is raised and reconstructed.
my.
So we're looking probably April for opening that. 48
Okay.
units. It's really a great program. And as soon as that's done, our collaboration is looking at starting the next project.
Good deal.
But this is an addition, the cold weather overflow shelter is an addition to that regular, as I said, the regular things that we do, really focusing on getting people housed.
Yeah.
But we're real proud of being able to do this emergency service, the cold weather, because we know that, people's lives are at risk.
Yeah.
And we're honored to be able to step up and do this hard work.
Well, I got to tell you, I've been at this agency for almost 3 years now, and I am continually amazed by the staff members, by you, and so just thrilled with the work that DRC does. So
Well,
I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you get back to it.
Yeah,
I know that
appreciate
you've been
that.
up on Kilimanjaro in a blizzard, but you still look cold.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to add, I've got the
Okay.
easy part. For most of the day, I sit behind a desk or I'm schmoozing with people. I really want to give a shout out to our direct care staff.
Oh, yeah.
All of our dedicated case managers, not only are they doing their regular job, but they're supervising all the various shifts that cover our cold weather operation. And then we also, during the cold weather months, when we do cold weather emergency overflow shelter, we basically hire an army of contract workers to help staff the various sites. And I'd also like to add, people are probably aware that when COVID restrictions started way back in March, one of the first safety precautions the city took was to require all the nighttime shelters to implement social distancing.
Mhm.
And what this meant was that the capacity in the shelters was cut in half. So all of a sudden, there were hundreds of people that otherwise would be going to the shelters for the night who had no place to go. So the city rented the convention center downtown, that spaceship shaped building downtown off of 9th Main. And they contracted with the DRC to operate an emergency overflow shelter for COVID. And we did that from March until June, and we were housing upwards of 400 plus people a night. Then after June, the convention center operation closed and we moved to another facility in town and operated from June until September. So we've basically been doing some level of crisis emergency shelter since March of this year.
For almost
and
an
again,
entire
we're
year.
real proud to have that role in the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, it's cold out here. Are we done?
It's cold. Sorry, that was a cat. Well,
Oh, you're not a cat. I'm not a cat.
I'm not a cat. Thank you for joining me today from the cold while I sit at home and work in my warm house.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Bruce.
Okay, thanks, Liesl. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.